On the Mic. On the Mic with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahafi. Hi, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of On the Mic with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahafi. We're very excited, especially today. We're going to continue our amazing discussions regarding what is happening here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And one way you get to know about it is getting the source, the individuals from ground zero, the individuals at the locations of an amazing events. For example, we've been discussing for several days now, several episodes, regarding the Red Sea project. I'm sure many people wonder what is that, what's going on, this and that. We hear about it. We want to go on vacation already. We want to go explore it. But, the time is coming sooner than expected. They're doing a lot of projects, a lot of things going on. And with our next esteemed guest, we're going to have further information about it, hopefully more secrets we can get out of them, but we'll do our best. Surely and slowly, we'll definitely do our best, but we're very excited to see what's going on, especially the Red Sea project. Our next esteemed guest we'd like to welcome to the show is Miss Claire McDonald, who is an Associate Resilience Director, risk, and lots of things to discuss. I'm sure many people are wondering, what does that mean? What is that? We're going to get more in depth, and we're going to do a little investigative discussion about it, I will say, because I feel like once you go ahead and have more chit chats, more discussion with individuals coming from outside the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia here, discussing their lifestyles, what they do, and their hobbies and everything, we get to have a little more information of the amazing projects happening here. So we'd like to welcome to the show Miss Claire. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, lovely to be with you. Thank you very much for having me.
We're very excited. First of all, Claire, your title, Associate Resilience Director of Risk. Tell us a little introduction about yourself, where you're from, what do you do, and the resilience part. I feel like many people is like I heard that before. What is that? What do they do? And tell us more.
Yeah, sure thing. So as you said, hi, I'm Claire. I'm the Associate Resilience Director for the Red Sea Development Company for the Red Sea Project. So resilience is essentially what I look at for the organisation and what I've done over the course of my career across both security and resilience. I've worked in both sectors. At the moment, I'm focused on the resilience piece for the project, and resilience is our ability to bounce back when things go wrong. So it's our ability as people and as organisations to recover when the worst happens. And I think, we've all experienced a lot of that over the last few years, particularly with the pandemic. So my job really is to help the organisation respond and recover when things go wrong.
So pretty much...
I've been in the Kingdom for I've lived here for 3 years now. It's gone really quick. And I've been in the Middle East region for 8 years.
Okay, so you're the type of person we want to avoid the word oopsie, huh?
Exactly. I'm here when things go wrong.
Okay, so you're the oopsie fixer, as they say, because when things go wrong, we need someone that's very calm. And I had one friend, in the worst situation, he's very relaxed, and I feel like that's your personality, Like you're very relaxed and everything's like, don't worry, we're here to fix it. We know how to avoid it and prevent it and everything. So yeah, very excited. For Claire, tell us more about yourself personally. You've been here in the region for 8 years. You lived in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for 3 years, and we know now what you do. But also you work as the Red Sea Project and everything. Tell us how them two come together. Resilience and safety and the Red Sea. Because, many people hear the Red Sea and everything. They're very excited. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said earlier, the resilience part of what I do was really, really helpful for the organisation during the pandemic. Obviously, a lot of organisations, every one of us really was kind of facing our own personal resilience challenges at that time. How we continue work, how we continue to support our families and support our mental health and you know, be kind of the best version of ourselves despite going through a really difficult time. So for the organisation at that time, my role was to make sure that we had a crisis management framework in place to help the organisation respond and recover from the pandemic. Obviously, we had you know, our Saudi national staff that were stuck at home with families. We had expats that worked for the organisation as well that were stuck. Some of them were stuck overseas. Some of them were stuck here without families. So, you know, really at the heart of what we try and do at the Red Sea Development Company, you know, we're a people-focused organisation, and we tried to do the best we could for our staff to make sure that we could continue as a business happily and healthily to keep our project driving forward towards Vision 2030. You know, that's the kind of heart of what we do and the reason we come to work every day.
You know, yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know, many individuals come into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, especially with a lot of projects happening. They were surprised. No one expected that oopsie, you know. You know, the entire world was like kind of surprised. They didn't know what to expect next and this and that. But yeah, you know, somehow we overcome, we achieved, and we did better than we expected. You know, with a lot of prevention, a lot of amazing initiatives happening very quickly. So yeah, I'm sure that, you know, coming to the kingdom was something that, or you've been in the region already, but to come to the kingdom, what made you want to come? What was something new? Was it adventure, the excitement, the opportunities? And because we know you've been here for 3 years, so you kind of lived it before and after the corona, and a little, and you know.
That's a great question. I've absolutely loved my time in the kingdom, and the reason that I wanted to come here, there was lots of reasons really. I mean, I was fascinated by the diversity that I saw in the kingdom. Before I moved here permanently, I used to consult into the kingdom, particularly Riyadh. So I was kind of flying back and forward from Dubai. And I mean, back in 2013, I was living in Bahrain, and I was working in Khobar and up in Jubail. So I'd visited the kingdom lots of times. I loved kind of what I saw. I really wanted to explore more of areas such as Abha and Alula and the West Coast. I'm an avid hiker. I do a lot of hiking, and I was really excited to come to Saudi and do more hiking. And that's exactly what I've done, you know, minus obviously the lockdown and the pandemic issues we had. Outside of that, I've been hiking 3 times a week for 3 years, and I absolutely love it. There's so much to explore in Saudi.
Wow, can I imagine that much hiking? That means you got used to the fresh air. So anything other than that kind of made you a little dizzy. For us, some of us we like to be indoors with the regular air and everything. It's quite the opposite. So we're trying to get adjusted to that. You know.
Yeah, I love being outdoors, and I particularly love being outdoors in Saudi. As I said, there's lots of really good hiking trails around Riyadh. You don't have to drive out too far, kind of whether it be out to the east, up to the north, or down south. There's lots of hiking trails, lots of really cool outdoor activity to do, and that's why I love living here. I love being outdoors, and I like that this country enables me to be outdoors as much as possible.
You know, you remind me of my hiking group. You know, when they invited me for the first time, I thought it was like a fooding hiking group. You know, so when they actually start hiking, I was like, "What is this? What is this?" But I enjoyed it. I surprised myself. You know, how much hiking went into it for kilos and adventures and stuff. And then there was after that to rest and eating. I love that. You know, especially when you're in the outdoors, you have fresh air, you're exhausted. I complained for like 2 hours hiking, but I enjoyed it. You know, the last part really made me enjoy it. But yeah, I understand what you mean. You know, for me, I'm not a 3 times a week hiker like you. I'm like once every 3 months, I think, or once every 3 years. It depends on it depends on that. But you know, for you, you're very lucky. You know, you're part of what's going on in the Red Sea. And yeah, I've had many discussions with many individuals and many people that live in the region or visit it, and they're saying, you know, that inspires you to do more. And you know, it's like, you know, when you travel, you go to clear blue waters, you go to adventures, you go fresh air near the sea, and like the wind blowing and everything. That inspires me to be more active, like in my mind and like hopefully physically, you know, because you know what I mean. It was like when you're surrounded with an amazing environment, you feel amazing after that. So I feel like that is that how it was when you first came to that region of the Red Sea visiting for the first time.
Yeah, it really was. And I think, I mean, I know I keep referencing the pandemic and the lockdowns, but one of the great things that did come out of the year of 2020 and into 2021 was that so many of us were here and we couldn't travel, which is what we're used to doing. We all love to travel. We love to the reason that we're building the Red Sea is to get people traveling and exploring new places. And I think what those years gave me personally was the ability to be in Saudi and have difficulty traveling outside of Saudi, but I really got to explore this place. And I agree. And I think when you go down to the coast, when you go and see the Red Sea project, the Amala project, all of the other pieces of work that are happening on that coastline, and you see the beautiful sea and the islands and the natural landscapes, and it's gorgeous and it's really exciting. And you're right, when you are in that, it inspires you to work harder, and you can see what the kingdom's trying to achieve with its vision, because this really is an incredibly beautiful country.
For many individuals, climb to the peak of the mountain. I feel like for your story, you really did that. From what I understand about you, like you like hiking, camping, and everything, but you actually went to the base of Everest and Kilimanjaro. So
Yes, yeah, I did. I set myself a challenge this year too. So I did. Yeah, I went to Everest Base Camp, and I went to the peak next to base camp, which is called Kalapatar. And then 8 weeks later, I went to Kilimanjaro and summited there. So yeah, I love hiking. I love being outdoors. And I get to do that here in Saudi. I get to train for those trips as well, because your terrain is so diverse here. It's brilliant.
For me, it's like I got invited to go to Kilimanjaro. I didn't go because the name kind of scared me. Kilimanjaro, and a mountain Kiliman. I was like, come on, man. So usually, it's like my first.
It was a killer.
I bet it was. Yeah, probably for the name of it to be literally Kilimanjaro. So that always scared me. I was like, God is giving you like hints and like that. I think we should listen to that. Let's just be safe on that. But for individual, you love adventures and everything, and Red Sea has a lot of things. I've noticed many individuals, they are very diverse and very active in everything they do. How do you see it there? Because I'm sure that surprised you a lot, and many individuals when they hear about it, you were in the region for a while, so you understand the Middle East and everything like that. But for individuals that hear about it, that they've never been here and everything, how will you describe it for them? Because I'm sure it's a surprise for them also.
Definitely. And I think when I speak to my family and friends back home, as you said earlier, I'm from the UK. I'm originally from London, and no one really, not many of my friends or family had been to Saudi or had visited before I moved here, and they were really surprised by everything that I was doing here, by the activities, by the people that I was surrounded with. I mean, in the organisation, we've got, I don't know how many nationalities, but there are a lot of different nationalities represented within the organisation. My interaction that I have with Saudi nationals as well has been amazing, and I think people are surprised and also really eager to hear more, and that's really nice. And when we get new joiners that come to the organisation, I think they're surprised and excited by the variety of activities we've got going on. Obviously we've got a great project and in a great location. We've got diving happening down there, obviously all to do with our environmental and sustainability mandate. We've got groups that go cycling. Obviously I do a lot of the hiking, and I've done that with the company as well. We've got loads of different sporting activities that happen. So it's great. It's really, I think, as I said, it's really surprising for people, and they're kind of eager to learn more and come and see it for themselves.
I've always wanted to ask hikers. You guys always love to overcome terrain of the land and everything. What about the ocean? Like, how are you guys on that? I've always wanted to ask my hiking friends. I always forget.
That's a really good question. I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I'm actually a scuba diver as well. So I love the sea and I love the mountains.
So you want to aim for the highest peak and the lowest elevation?
Exactly, but just not on the same day.
You want to get a little different. You'll be confused. Are you going up or down?
Exactly. But that's what's great about like the Red Sea project as well. You know, we've got those. You could go hiking in the afternoon, and you know, you could have been diving in the morning. It's got, you know, that's what I love about Saudi. I love that variety.
Oh. For you, it's like I've asked many individuals. You know, they've traveled. I know one guy. He's a diver. He went to like I think 15 locations all around the world. Very specific. He picks them. You know, and then he comes to Red Sea and everything. He was like, "Do you know what you have in your backyard?" I'm like, "Yes, and water." He was like, "No, like literally, do you know what you have in your backyard?" I was like, "Yeah, but why?" Well, I didn't understand the question. So he was like telling me about what's happening in Red Sea, the environment, the climate, and this and that. For me, I didn't want to admit like I didn't know or I was wrong. But I was like, I was just going with him. I was, yeah, of course I knew. He was like, no, you didn't. I was like, why you say that? He was like, did you know people living near that region, like in Jeddah or the Red Sea area and stuff like that? When he spoke to them, a lot of Saudis they don't explore their own backyard. I'm sure you've noticed that yourself, right? Like a lot of individuals coming from overseas, they explore Saudi Arabia more than the Saudis they do, which I feel kind of embarrassed learning that information. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right, but I think that's what happens when it's your own backyard. Like I haven't explored anywhere in England really. Like I haven't been. I'm from the south of England. I haven't really been to the north of England, and I think when you're from the place, you kind of don't explore it the way you should. But yeah, I mean, I would agree with your friend there that the diving, the quality of diving you've got on the Red Sea coast, on the Saudi side is unreal. You know, I've been diving in the Red Sea from Egypt, and I've been to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, and lots of different amazing diving locations around the world. But my goodness, there really is something special about that pristine coastline that we've got at the moment from Saudi Arabia on the west coast, and it is, you know, it's we have to protect it as well. That's the most important thing.
Indeed, you got to protect what you have because you get to enjoy it better and more naturally. You know, I've seen many regions they try to create their own artificial coral reef, which is very unfortunate if you think about it. You know, nature should be naturally nature. You know, but yeah.
Absolutely.
One thing I've always like, you're individuals. I feel my friends they always say is like let's go diving, this and that. Let's go skydiving. You know, my feet are supposed to be in the ground, not up high in the sky, or like down in the ocean. Because even like I was telling my friends or like previous interviews, they say, oh, diving, this and that. Like I want to eat fish. I don't want to be fish food. You know, there's a difference. You know, a little worried about I'm a little worried of that aspect. No, I'm serious. You know, my friends they laugh at me because I'm being serious about it. I'm scared. You know, I don't know what's going on there. It's like, but when they tell me like you know that region, like I'm allergic and stuff, my friend could convince me because I love fishing. You know, I love fishing on the boat. You know, I'm a little scary cat going into the ocean and stuff like that. But he tells me you can see what's there. I was like, that's even worse. You know, if you're like somewhere like it's not clear water or anything like that, something touches you, it's a reaction. I'm gonna panic. But like if something touches me and I see it, I'm gonna die right there and then. You know, it's even worse. So he was like, I never understood your justification, but he proved the point. He was like, you can see the clear water, you can enjoy the clear water. You know. So I was like, yeah, it made me more excited because for me, I love adventures. I love trying new things. You know, safely without, you know, like being fish food, of course. But like, yeah, but for me, I never liked the part of traveling and flights and everything. So that gave me a better option, a more clear opportunity to travel less and enjoy more. Because can you imagine if I had like a 5 day vacation? It will take me a few hours just to go to the western part of the kingdom instead of traveling to like Maldives or anything like that. It'll take how many hours you're exhausted and anything. So I think that's a good opportunity for the region and the Middle East, you know, individuals in the kingdom to enjoy their backyards, like you mentioned. So yeah, I totally agree about that. For you, you're an individual that Claire, that you know been in the Middle East for several years, this and that, and you've noticed that there's a lot of development happening, especially in the female empowerment. How do you see that, especially with many projects? I've seen young Saudis, young females becoming a part of the new change. What words do you like to say regarding that, or advice to the younger generation of the female population?
Yeah, definitely. This is a question I get asked a lot, actually, as a woman living and working here in the kingdom now. I mean, I've certainly, you know, when I first came to the kingdom in 2013 and I was working on a project in Jubail, I would say, you know, if I fast forward from from that time, from 2013 to now, 2022, it's a huge change for women in the kingdom. When I think about all of the different milestones that have happened in that time as well for women, I'm really excited. I think it's fantastic what's happening in the kingdom. Certainly at the organisation, we are and have been really from day one a real advocate for women in the workplace, for Saudi females coming into different parts of the organisation as well. I mean, when you think about the Red Sea, we are a construction company. We're constructing assets. We're also about to operate those assets. We are a corporate function. Obviously we've got legal teams, we've got health and safety teams, governance, risk, compliance, marketing, cyber security, so many different areas that young Saudis can get involved in, and that's definitely what we're seeing. We've been running an elite program for a couple of years now as well, and that's elite young Saudi nationals who are top of their educational experience, really, really switched on, clever guys and girls that are coming into the organisation. And that program has always been 50% female, 50% male. And yeah, it's great. It's great to see those young female and male Saudis kind of coming into the organisation with a passion to, I love speaking to the young Saudis in the organisation when you hear about how passionate they are about what they're doing in the company, and how it's contributing to Vision 2030 and how it's contributing to a change for their country. That's what excites me. That's what I love seeing.
Yeah, it seems like you like adventures, you like challenges. I can see that. It's quite interesting. But yeah, it's very true. The many points that you mentioned, is like, what you pass on, the knowledge and excitement of changes for the better. It goes to show that, progress is happening, development is happening, infrastructure is being developed and changed. But yeah, I totally agree. One thing that you've been in the region since 2013 and many years here in the region. What is something that you want to discuss, that surprised you the most, or like the changes you've seen? Because I feel like everyone has their own story. You're from London and Middle and the East and everything. You mentioned about women development and empowerment and stuff. But what is one thing that you felt like is an interesting story for someone to be aware of regarding your experience here in the kingdom?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good question. Definitely when I first came to the kingdom all those years ago, I was a lot younger. I was 9 years younger, and I was a little bit scared. I was a young female, fairly new into my career. I was scared about how I would be perceived as a Western woman in that environment. And I think the thing that surprised me most is when I fast forward to where I am now in 2022. I'm an associate director in a fantastic company. So this region and this country particularly, has given me an opportunity to develop my career and to give back to Saudi by way of the project and by way of imparting my knowledge onto kind of young Saudi nationals. But when I think about what surprised me most, it is the fact that I'm living here now. I'm driving my car to work every day. I'm hiking. I'm going to the gym. I'm going out with friends for dinner and to the cinema. And it's a completely different lifestyle to when I first came to Saudi in 2013. Every aspect of my life is different, and it's different for the better. And it's enabled me to explore more of the country and really integrate with locals and yeah, just enjoy it.
Many individuals you brought the changes happen very quickly, and amazing changes for development and really lifestyle of that. And there's something I've noticed, like people come to the kingdom for the first time or the region. They're like, this is what I heard of Saudi Arabia. This is what surprised me. This is what I didn't realize. But yeah, you brought very good perspective, and I think this is what people need to realize, especially with the projects happening here, with the new changes and everything. Change has already come, and more changes is coming. and what they think Saudi Arabia was 10, 50 years ago, what is even a year ago, is not going to be the same by the end of this year or 23 first quarter, as many of the individuals have been telling me. So yeah, I feel like you mentioned very important points there. Change is coming. We've witnessed the change. We lived through it, and there's many more to come. Anyway, thank you so much, Claire, for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure. Any final words or message or anything you'd like to tell our dear listeners regarding your experience or final message?
I think we've just got to keep going, right? We've got a huge, ambitious Saudi Vision 2030 ahead of us, and I think we can all contribute to that. Whether we're expats or whether we're Saudi nationals, we can all come together to achieve that goal. So I think let's just keep going. But thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Claire McDonald, Associate Resilience Director of Risk. And she is from the Red Sea Development Company, discussing about her experiences, her lifestyle, her adventures, obviously the high peak adventures and the scuba diving adventures. So it goes to show that she's reaching for the sky literally and seeing what adventures there is under the ocean. So yeah, both sides. But it's amazing to see the how it's perceived here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, some of the developments that's happening, and the future development that is under construction. As we say, we always like to take a peek what's happening in the future, but sometimes waiting and see the possibilities is always exciting to know. But we always have to be a part of it. We always want to see and be a part of it, because once we are all a part of it and understanding what's happening, we get to appreciate it more. But yeah, that was an amazing guest. Ms. Claire McDonald joining us here for On the Mic with myself, Sulaiman Zahafi, talking about expats experiences here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, what they do, what they witness, their adventures, and yeah, it's quite interesting. And till further and more discussions with our amazing guests coming in the future, go ahead and always do what you love. Because I feel like once you enjoy the moment, when you enjoy life, because time will fly by, so enjoy the moment, live your adventures, go ahead and have your to-do list, your wish list in life, and go for it. As she said, she had traveled so many places, she has done so much, and she's an avid adventurer and hiker. So go do what you love, get the fresh air, and live life. Till further episodes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On the Mic. On the Mic with your host, Sulaiman Al-Zahafi.